What's up, poopers? Welcome to another episode of MMO Weekly, where I talk about MMORPG news that interested me for the past week of September 9th, 2020. Let's jump right into it. New World released a thank you news update on September 3rd, talking about the results of their 10-day preview, though it actually came out before the preview was even finished. In the news update, they mentioned that they plan on beginning their next phase of testing in November, still a bit of ways away. There isn't much detail on the planned testing, whether it will be another preview event or more closed alpha testing that is fully locked up under NDA. We did hear, however, in a short interview conducted by one of the lead developers on New World with Asmongold and Rich, that they are taking a lot of the feedback they get seriously and are going about trying to fix the game's flaws and improve it for the launch. If you personally enjoyed New World and want to see it succeed, the best way to give feedback and have the New World developers read it is to post your thoughts on the current state of their game on the official forums. Just be sure to give constructive feedback rather than destructive feedback. For me personally, I feel a lot of the praise is coming from honeymooners or creators too afraid to be honest, and the game will need a hard reality check and undergo massive changes if they want to see actual success outside of people playing it simply because there is nothing else to play. Next up, rumors have been circulating about the release of Classic World of Warcraft's final patch, Naxxramas, and in addition to that, the launch of a classic Burning Crusade. Normally I wouldn't talk about rumors, but they line up with the other information that we had received so far, as a few months back Blizzard put out a survey asking about the Burning Crusade Classic with fairly positive results. According to the tweet by NanoNost, a former Nostalrius member, Classic World of Warcraft's Naxxramas patch is planned for an early December release, with the Burning Crusade Classic beta rolling out as early as March or April of 2021. He wasn't able to list his source of this information in order to protect them and hasn't stated that it is confirmed 100%, but seems fairly confident in what he's saying. Included in his comments, he has stated that when Classic servers move to the Burning Crusade Classic, there will be the option for players to copy their characters over to a permanent vanilla server for those who do not want to go over to the Burning Crusade Classic and prefer to stay back in the original. Personally, I am super excited for a classic Burning Crusade just because I feel it was the peak of original WoW when it had the most features that I liked and the most balance, some of the greatest raids and zones, and a ton of wonderful memories from my childhood are in the Burning Crusade. But my classic World of Warcraft experience has made me accept that I won't be able to experience the magic of the game as it once was due to everybody basically knowing everything. I still feel the Burning Crusade hasn't been min-maxed as hard as original Classic has in general. The Burning Crusade private servers never reached the population and popularity as Classic private servers did, and the length of the Burning Crusade is shorter, as was the accuracy of the private servers, so there's a good chance we'll be able to play with a lot less of the same experiences that happened in Classic World of Warcraft's release. Next, let's talk about Dual Universe. This one slipped under my radar, but I've recently jumped into the game as it went into beta status as of August 27th, where anybody can play with a subscription. It's an open world sandbox PvP game. Now I wouldn't call it an MMORPG exactly, but it is certainly an MMO in the fullest form, with upwards of 30,000 active players online at a time on a single persistent server, which consists of a galaxy containing several planets and moons. Of these planets and moons, you can freely destroy and create anything using their voxel engine, building your own ships, space stations. You can even build factories that will make ships for you. And the possibility to gun down and steal other players' resources makes it a pretty interesting PvP game. At the same time, there are protections for players who just want to build in the form of a sanctuary moon starter zone where PvP is completely restricted. I generally shy away from sci-fi games, but I've been enjoying it so far personally. The game is certainly suffering from growing pains as the servers lack stability due to the massive growth of players over the past few weeks, but there is no planned wipe, so if you're into building and sci-fi MMOs, now is a good time to get in early and start building up your space empire. Camelot Unchained has unfortunately fallen off the radar for many people after their announcement that they had been working on a second title called Ragnarok Colossus in the background alongside working on Camelot Unchained, supposedly to help them secure more investment to continue the production of Camelot Unchained. Despite the Kickstarter campaign having happened 7 years ago, the game has not been nearing release date quite yet. The length of production is mainly due to the fact that they have been building an engine from scratch that is designed to handle massive amounts of players on screen and track projectiles without latency in their action combat for large-scale PvP battles, as that is what the game is being built around. The announcement, however, prompted a wave of refund requests. However, when you look at the gameplay of Ragnarok Colossus and consider what Ashes of Creation did with releasing Apocalypse, it almost sounds like both developers had the same idea. They needed a way to make sure their designs could handle large-scale battles, something that is harder to pull off using modern graphics than a lot of people realize. Taking a look at Ragnarok Colossus's gameplay at first glance, it doesn't seem all that impressive, but when you look at how smoothly the game handles the multiplayer with massive amounts of enemies on screen, I honestly think it shows promise, and if they are truly using this and applying it to the development of Camelot Unchained, we may yet still have a large-scale PvP MMORPG coming our way. The actual Unchained updates have still been coming and tests have been ongoing in the background in terms of their building system and PvP, so if you're backing the game, you can jump in and get a feel of where they are currently, as well as even start building up what you would want as your housing plots to look like when the game actually launches. Unfortunately, it is still under NDA, so I cannot share much of my thoughts or experiences on it thus far, but the recent dev updates have shown nicely just through a few screenshots how far they've come in terms of making the game world look more beautiful, and it seems like they've got the engine doing exactly what they need it to do. Honestly, at this point, it can still go either way. Either it's a scam, they sell out their engine, and maybe someone else builds a great massively scaled PvP MMORPG in the future using it, or they follow through and they complete the game that they promised. I'm refraining from judgment and hoping as a backer that they stay true to their promise and deliver the game they set out to make, but only time will tell. Next, let's move on to the quickie news. Black Desert Online will soon be releasing its new region of Odalita, themed around haunted and dark lands with higher level challenging content and new equipment to hunt down. Now, the region was released recently on the Korean servers in March of this year, where plenty of videos have been made showing off the new gear, the grind spots, and the beautifully designed landscape if you're interested in doing your research beforehand. But it's currently set to release in North America and Europe in October, so if you've been waiting for new content to go back to BDO, this may be the right time for you. Blue Protocol, the anime MMORPG title being developed by Bandai Namco, has honestly not had any real news updates since their last closed beta test a few months ago. They have hired localization teams and it's been made clear that they plan to release it in Western countries in the future, but honestly, the devs are keeping quiet on any future tests or release dates. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am keeping an eye on the game, as I too am very interested in it, and I will do my best to keep you guys updated if anything changes. If you're interested in checking out Star Citizen, as of today they've begun their 2-week free fly event where it's possible to jump into the game for free for the next 2 weeks to experience parts of the game and fly around in some ships, as part of a ship showdown event where the community is to decide the best of 16 community built ships. And if that piques your interest, I'll put a link in the description for more information on how you can get into it. But that's it for this week. Not a whole lot of news going on in the MMORPG world as of late, but I think we'll start to see some things picking up soon, as there are quite a few indie titles creeping up, such as Titan Reach aiming to launch its Kickstarter soon. Let me know if there are any titles that you are interested in currently that I have not mentioned yet, and I'll do my best to dig deep into it and add it to my list of titles that I am tracking. And don't forget, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and the notification thingy. All of that really helps the channel grow. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. I am booping out.
Boop.